Hello, ensigns, lieutenants, and commanders. This is Brooke Noska, and you are watching a fan. I fucked that up so bad.
I should put that. I think I might do that in the outtakes.
No.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. Hey everyone, welcome to A Planetary Diary, the Making of a Fan series. I'm your host, Eric Moran, and today I am happy to introduce to everyone out there this young lady. She's very talented. She does the visual effects for a lot of great shows like Ratchet, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., American Horror Story, and her claim to fame, her real, besides her being an Emmy Award winner and everything else, she works on the Orville. She is the visual effects producer on the Orville. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Brooke Noska. Hey Brooke, how you doing today?
What's up, guys? What's up? Quarantine, staying in place, hanging out with my favorite posters, my walls, you guys. It's going great. My onesie, really dressed it up for you guys, you know.
Awesome.
Put on my Star Wars onesie.
And we love that. So today, we're going to be asking you a couple different questions, and we're going to start right off the gate. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it's been just an open door. Like, I've started in theme parks. Never, ever thought I would see, touch, smell, maybe even taste a green screen in my entire life. I worked with a bunch of endangered animals. I was in a tiger cage, almost got eaten by a whale once. That was kind of cool. So yeah, starting there, and then now, basically in space is quite a far distance, literally, physically, and mentally. But I've always been into how cool it is that entertainment you can have. It doesn't matter what background, ethnicity, culture, your life story. If you're watching something, you guys can all connect on something, whether it's how cool that whale is jumping out of the ocean, or how awesome a space battle looks, or cringing because somebody got their head chopped off. It doesn't matter what you're feeling, but you're all feeling it together, and it's it brings together all different corners of the world. And I mean, obviously, since we went to NASA, even outer space together. And I just think that's just so cool. What else does that? And so that's been my I guess my baseline is I really like how people get to connect together and experience things together. I went to college out here in LA at CSUN, shout out to the Matadors, woo woo. But yeah, I went to CSUN, met tons of really great teachers, mentors, and honestly, the people that gave me my first, foot in the door, and, just got a really great experience. I like to call it it's a very homegrown experience, because everybody that you work with, CSUN is such a great melting pot of different people, and like I said, different stories, and you get to work with those people from all over the country and world, and just do really cool stuff. So yeah, after college I worked and dabbled in reality for a little bit, realized it's not for me. I worked on The Challenge, and yeah, that wasn't for me, so I had to get out. And one of my teachers from CSUN called me up and said, hey, this company, VFX, they're super tiny company, but they need some editors, and you're kind of the chick that edited everything, so would you be interested in taking an interview? And I said, sure. I love money. Whatever gets me a job, I love it. So I interviewed with Fuse, had a 2-hour pre-phone conversation with their pipeline editorial supervisor, had so many great conversations about just film and VFX in general. Granted, I didn't know anything about visual effects. I remember in college, one of our teachers brought his friend from Zoic, and he showed us a Once Upon a Time reel, and I was like, I don't even know why we're looking at this. I'm never gonna touch a green screen. I don't care. I'm gonna go into multicam and work on Mike and Molly. So I worked at VFX. I started as editor, kind of moved my way up the ranks, which is probably why I have so many credits, just because I was a hustler. I wanted to work on everything that I could get my hands on. And I got to work with so many great people that were at VFX and so many people that were at the different studios. Like I said, I worked on so many different things between, you know, space in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. To Mike and Molly, which was awesome because I was like, this is what I wanted to do. I worked on a couple other multi-camera shows, Superior Donuts, which, you know, had a short lifespan, but that was great. And then Barry season 1 was so cool. And so I got to work on all these really great shows. And I remember one day in a meeting, they were like, all right, we have this list of shows that are potentials. Does anybody want to work on anything? And I saw Seth MacFarlane, Orville. And I was like, I want to work on that show. I have no idea what it's about, but he likes fart jokes. I love fart jokes. We're going to be awesome. And so they were like, wow, that is a large show that you're going to take on. And I was like, give it to me. I want it. So yeah, we worked on season 1 over at Fuse. And then season 2, I got a phone call and they were like, hey, you want to come over and hang out with us? And I was like, sure. Yeah, so it was me and a bunch of people interviewing for the position. And yeah, 24 hours later, I got a call and they're like, yeah, we'd like to offer you the VFX producer position on the Orville. And I was like, whoa, okay. Huge undertaking. And you're sitting at these tables with like industry legends. Like you got David Goodman that's like sitting next to you. Like how cool is that? Like so awesome. And then, you know, you just have like all these people that like, obviously like your IMDb is like heating up and on fire because you keep on trying to research everybody that's on the cast and crew list. Howard Berger's amazing. Like, oh my God, Chronicles of Narnia. Like, that's awesome. And I'm just like, hey, I'm the new chick. What's up? I was an editor like 4 years ago. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. Like, just getting involved into the post-production and, you know, just really like mother hen underneath the wings of comfort and support by Tom and Hillary and Bart. Just to like, I mean, it was crazy, guys. We did so many visual effects in season 2. I was like, oh yeah, this is crazy. But we had such a great team. Andre, Danny Levitch, who is making his own series now, which is awesome. And all the post team from last season was so great. So even though there were very hard and like almost full of tear nights, it all turned out really great. And I'm so excited for season 3 because we've propelled it beyond space. We're in the galaxy. It's going to be awesome. And that's just a little bit about me.
What has been the biggest challenge for you as a visual effects producer?
I mean, I think it's that like visual effects isn't like cookie cutter, which I think is it kind of people can't really grasp that. They're like, if we put up a green screen, the magic things just happen, and who cares what we shot because it's gonna look great. And we're like, okay, to a degree, sure, but it's like you have so many different ways and different like creatives that are behind different looks. So it's really interesting, but also difficult to try to really just hone in on like one way to do something, which is also a great asset because my toolkit is full of different ways to shoot all kinds of things. Like when we shot the rain inside the Orville, we had done something similar to it on Salem. So it was like, well, okay, it's not witches dying at the stake, but there's rain, so that's at least the common denominator. So it's just, I think the most difficult part is just trying to explain to people that aren't in visual effects that like you can't just slap up a green screen or some tracking markers and then magically you're Game of Thrones. Like there's a lot of tech, creativity, hardware, time, render time, money that goes into it. So, and there's, I mean, as funny as it seems like, oh, just like copy and paste this moon over here from this show over to this show, like there's so much that goes into just making that moon that you see on the screen for like 2 frames, that it's hard to explain that to people because they just think, well, I saw it there, so it must be possible. And it's like, well, okay, that's true, but also like talk to the people that did it, and then you'll know a little bit more about how it works.
What was it like? I mean, we wanted to go back on talking about a little bit on the Orville for you. What was it like the first time when you, after all like some of the work you've done, we talked about how you did a little bit on season 1, but in season 2, what was it like when you finally saw your work come to life on the screen, like on TV, and seeing that come to life and that work, all that work you put in come to life and people loving it? How did that feel?
Oh man. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was because I was like such out of water the first like season 2 because I was like all these people have spent years making this first season, and here I am, newbie, coming in, and I'm like I had such like anxiety because I was like, okay, so like they brought me in to make this show really cool. I hope it looks cool, but I have no idea what it's gonna look like. And I had no idea the massive force behind the fandom. Like, I was not at all aware of that. I remember, I think the first episode aired, and I hadn't turned on my Twitter since 2007, probably. And Tom was like, by the way, you're gonna want to like follow this, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I was like, oh my god, we are blowing up. It was so cool to also experience that with like we're literally working on the next episodes, and the crew that's behind it is there with us. We're all like, we're barely watching the show, but we're watching Twitter because we've seen the show hundreds and hundreds of times by the time you guys have seen it. So it was just really cool to like just experience it all together, and thank God it was positive feedback. I mean, it was a little, you know, maybe the kids should have gone to bed early on that first episode, but it was awesome.
One of the things that like I when I saw and I was really blown back, I wanted to know, what was it like for you winning that Emmy? Like, what did you feel, how did you feel when you won an Emmy?
For American Horror Story, oh my god, I was screaming, crying, yelling. I'm pretty sure when the next day at work, we're all like showing pictures and like the Emmys are there, and you're just like, oh my god. Also, I had just graduated out of college. Like, the timeline between me graduating out of college, working at Fuse, working on American Horror Story, and the American Horror Story team winning an Emmy is like a year, like max, maybe 6 months max. So just being a part of the team and being at the awards show and like hearing Fuse FX wins and like slow motion, watching Tommy Tran and Jason Buchoni and Matt Lefferts and all those guys like walk down the aisle and then be like, all right, we did it. And then everybody's just like, yes! I'm pretty sure all the people that were around us did not like us. Also, we were at the end of the ceremony, so everybody just had to pee, and like by that time their booze had run off, so they were like, whatever. So when you get like everybody who like kind of doesn't really care, they just want it to be over, and then me being like, yeah! Like screaming, like that building's on fire. Yeah, there's a lot of videos of me just being way too loud and you can't understand anybody. But yeah, it was really great. It's so funny, like looking back at that and then like looking at last year's Emmys. Like, I drove myself in a smart car from like a dress that I got from the Goodwill, and then last season it was like my entire family was there. I got us a limo. Like, it was such like night and day. Granted, we didn't win, but as they all say, it was just a pleasure to be there.
It's the fact that you got nominated. I think that's what it counts too.
Which is like, it's like talking about seeing that first episode and like the response that we got, and then a season later getting an Emmy nomination versus like the greats of the industry. Like, whoa, like so crazy. It was awesome. I'm probably the most organic person that's gonna react to anything ever, but yeah. I was like literally on the ground crying, and Bruce is like, ah, like trying to lick my face, and I'm like trying to call my mom, but like shaking. She's like, who died? And I was like, nothing. So it was emotional, but it was really great because that's when I was back. I had taken during the summer, went back to Fuse, was working on Ratchet, worked on American Horror Story, was working with Tommy Tran, who was on the team for American Horror Story that long ago. Then we were together on a nomination for Orville. We're in the same office. He brought me flowers. It was a real storybook shit there.
Well, that's what I want to also ask you, because I asked Tom this question. How do you feel about the fandom? I mean, you know, you had people like Egotastic Fun Time with JP. You have the Orville experience with the 3D experience. When you have people like Orville Nation, even and so how do you feel about that? Like the fandom for the fan films, the people that are trying to, like myself, that are creating fan films. How do you feel about all that? Like, how does that make you feel?
It like humbling is an understatement. Like it's humbling, it's inspiring. Like everything is just so cool because like I think you guys are the coolest. Like you guys dig so deep into this fandom, like, and you guys own it, you wear it, you love it, it's everywhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And like it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, like, I work really hard and, like, I provide a maybe 60-minute episode, but you guys live and breathe this stuff. And I'm like, man, you guys are so cool. Like, you're so much cooler than I am. Like, oh my gosh, it's so cool and it looks great. And, you know, like, the fan art is awesome. Meeting everybody at Comic-Con last year was just, like, so, like, oh, it's all great. You guys, I'm such a huge fan of the Orville fandom, and like when any fake news goes up about anybody, it doesn't matter if it's about VFX or like A-list actors, like you guys are on it and you are making sure that our name is protected, and you don't care what anybody has to say.
And, you know, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny because when they were like, "Oh, the Orville's canceled," we were like, people like myself, JP, we were all, "Oh, hell no. And well, I know from some. I'm like, no, you don't.
Oh my gosh! And you guys have like the most vicious like clapback memes I've ever seen of like me and my Orville fandom endgame. And I was just like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm here for it. Like, I don't even have to say anything. You guys already know. So I guess to turn it around, I'm such a big fan of you guys because you inspire us to be better and continue like just making it as awesome as we possibly can, because you guys are all making it awesome. And like I can't let you guys down. Like that would break my heart if I let you guys down.
Well, I seriously don't think you guys are going to. From all what I'm hearing about season 3, everyone is excited about season 3. We are definitely looking forward to it.
You know, you guys are like doing such a great job of like filling the space. Like the Dark Horse comics are great. They look awesome. Like I said, the game is great. Your guys' series awesome. These little interviews, like you guys still care about us even though we've been off the air for so long. Like it's just so great to have this content, because like where else are you gonna have like engulfed by your guys' love that just like we know that you guys want it and we are trying so hard to get it out to you guys. Also just everything that's like happening in the world, like we just need like that nugget of like hope, or like, yes, we can relate to this, or just something new. So yes, we want it to be out there for you guys too, as soon as possible.
What advice would you give to anyone that wants to break into working in production, visual effects? What advice would you give?
Honestly, try anything, and everything is a superpower. You know how to drive a stick car? Boom, get into transpo, because they need people that know how to drive stick cars. Do you know how to use a sander? Like, get into construction, because they got lots of stuff that you need to sand and like hammer. Honestly, try anything. Are you good at buying snacks? Like crafty? Boom, get in there, because like all you have to do is just try something. And then once you're a part of it, you're a part of the family. Like everybody needs each other. Like we hired our PA from accounting because she just reached out and was like, hey, I also went to CSUN. I'm really into what you guys do. If you have an opening, like, can I be considered? We brought her in, we interviewed her. She already knew like the ins and outs of the show. She got so many great like recommendations from just people that are around the show. So like once you just get in somewhere, then you've built your network of people. I just know so many people that work in the same exact building on the Fox lot from being a part of the Ryan Murphy family and like being a part of this show, and they've kind of crossed over a couple times. And especially like for remote workflow, since we're all in it together, I can call up the Ryan Murphy gang and say, hey, you have nothing to do with what I have to do, but we have to do this work the same way. What are you doing? What am I doing? What's working for Ryan Murphy? What's working for Seth? Like how can we make entertainment? Because now we're like thrust into this world of who knows how we're gonna do it. So it's just like once you just get in, try anything. Don't be weird, because that definitely is like a black spot. But like just try anything, and then you'll find your way. And bad experiences are good experiences too, because you know, like I said, I worked in reality for probably 4 months, and I knew that was exactly what I did not want to do. But I knew it, I did it. I can tell people if they are interested into it, who to talk to, because I have those connections and contacts from when I did that. So I know it seems super like do whatever you want, but like literally do whatever you want. Make your own stuff, have your friends make stuff, reach out to people. Who knows what will happen.
Thank you so much, Brooke. Brooke, you were an awesome guest. I got to definitely bring you back. You were amazing. I love the answers. I know the fans out there are like, oh my God, she is so awesome and all. And so I want to thank you so much. I want to thank everyone out there who tuned in today. Shout out to all the Orville fandoms, Egotastic Fun Time, Orville Nation, Orville 24/7, and so many Orville family, and everyone else out there that showed their love and support to what we're doing. Again, we show a new episode every Wednesday. And so if you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and make sure you tune in for a new episode next week. And like I end my episodes every time, make every step you take a planetary one. We'll see you next week.